Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's been another week. It's gone by. A lot has changed, but I'm sure for so many of us in our homes, a lot has stayed the same. I wanted to take a minute and just share some of my thoughts as we go into the next week. I'm now realizing that as you watch these videos, if you were to watch them back to back, it would be like a really poorly shot time-lapse video of watching my hair grow, which I know is not the reason you watch these videos, but if it is, you're welcome. I got a little sunburn on top. Yesterday, as we got out, I found for myself that for my own sanity and just kind of keeping everything moving in the way it needs to, getting out and walking has become a really big part of my routine. And so each day I get out and do a handful of miles just to get the body going and the blood flowing and to see different change of pace than just my bedroom and my desk in my corner as I work. So that's really helped. This week as well, we had the opportunity to have a Bishop's Youth discussion with all the youth on Wednesday night. Well, we tried with all the youth, but technology is difficult and we struggled to get everybody on there. But we had a conversation just about General Conference, a little bit of like scavenger hunt kind of trivia for General Conference, which was nice. And it was just good to see the youth and hear from them. I know it's tough for all of us during this period of time, but for the youth especially, if you think about how much of your life, when you were a teenager, how much of your life involved going out and figuring out who you are and having real world experiences and hanging out with friends, and it's a significant portion of that period of time. And right now it's being limited, which is obviously for the best of the community in the world. But definitely hard. But the youth keep good spirits about them, and they joked and they laughed, and they probably instant messaged a little bit, making fun of some of the different things I said. I would hope that they had a fun night, but it was good. It was good to hear from them. It's still not the same as being face to face, and I look forward to that day where we can meet together in church face to face. The youth heard me share this, but I just love this conversation that I heard from a sister in the stake who was with her 11-year-old boy, and I'm sure I'm misquoting it somewhere along the line, but as they were driving somewhere, he said, "Do you miss going to church?" And she said, "Yeah, I do." And he said, "Yeah, me too." Just totally surprised that he missed it and that she missed it. And she said, "I'll be honest, the first couple weeks, I didn't miss that much because I didn't have to prepare a lesson. I didn't have to get as dressed up. I didn't have to drive somewhere, and I thought that was kind of a nice relief. But as time's gone on, I've really missed it." And this 11-year-old just said, "Yeah, me too. I really miss church." Which I can picture being an 11-year-old, or even as a 15-year-old, and even sometimes as as an older adult, I think, yeah, there's days that I probably would have been surprised if I would have missed church, but there's many days where I do truly miss it. I just love that story because as we met with the youth to figure out what would you want to do next when this is all over, several of them kind of shook their head up and down when somebody said, "I'm just excited to go back to church." And I think that's great. Two thoughts for this week come to me as I read through Mosiah 4-6, which is the Come Follow Me chapters this week. I've been really surprised. I know the Lord through His Spirit can make anything relevant to us, but I feel like the lessons we're learning through King Mosiah and others during this period of time, and Enos earlier on, as he prays before the Lord, they seem to be coinciding very closely with the things that I need to hear, and that I think are really meaningful for us in our lives right now. There's two parts in here that I just absolutely love. In verse 2 of chapter 5, after King Benjamin's done, he kind of says, "Oh, I just said a lot of stuff. What do you guys think? Do you believe me? I've been praying with the Spirit to make sure that you could hear what you needed to hear. What do you think?" And their response I have always loved. They say, "Yea, we believe all the words which thou hast spoken unto us, and also we know of their surety and truth, because of the Spirit of the Lord omnipotent, which has wrought a mighty change in us, or in our hearts, that we have no more disposition to do evil, but to do good continually." I love that verse. I don't know I have for many seconds consecutively in my life felt no more desire to do evil but to do good continually, because I'm a work in progress and I'm struggling with that as I go throughout my entire life. But I love that this unison of people are like, we believe you. And I've never noticed this until this time. And coming out of General Conference, it's been heavy on my mind. But they say, because of the Spirit of the Lord Omnipotent. We don't believe you because you're really fun to listen to. We believe you because of the Spirit, which has wrought a mighty change in our hearts. And as we think about this General Conference and how much the prophet and his apostles and the other officers of the church talked about the importance of understanding how we hear him, this just stood out to me, that the way that these people got a mighty change in their hearts was not because they were awesome at changing their behaviors. It wasn't because King Benjamin was the greatest speaker of all time. It was because the Spirit changed their hearts, because they were in the position to hear it. They recognized it, and it changed their hearts, and it removed their desire to do evil and increased their desire to do good. I can't imagine there's anybody listening to this that doesn't have, that couldn't benefit from losing some desire to do evil and gaining more desire to do good. I know myself included, I put myself in that boat. And it comes as the Spirit changes our hearts. And so I love that we're on this mission from our prophet to learn how the Spirit speaks to us. Because if we can learn how the Spirit speaks to us, how much more likely are we to recognize as the Spirit changes our hearts? I challenge the youth to create a Hear Him journal. And there's no reason we can't do this as adults as well, is to take a journal and start writing down the things that you think the Spirit has said to you throughout the day. Some days you may have a lot to write. Other days you may not feel like there's anything to write, and that's okay. But I believe that as we start to recognize where we think the Spirit is speaking to us, we'll start to recognize how the Spirit speaks to us and more clearly be able to say, yep, that was it. That was the Spirit speaking to me. And I feel like that is going to be an unlock to so many of the things we need in the coming days, brothers and sisters. Last thought is in Mosiah chapter 4, verses 27. This is when he's still giving his sermon. After all of this, King Benjamin talks about how important it is to serve, how important it is to take care of the poor and the needy, how important it is to take care of your own spiritual welfare. His testimony of Jesus Christ, he reveals the Savior and what he's going to do in our lives. And then he says, and see that all these things are done in wisdom and order, for it is not requisite that a man should run faster than he has strength. And again, it is expedient that he should be diligent. Thereby he might win the prize. Therefore, all things must be done in order. Brothers and sisters, I am hearing so many stories of so much good that's being done in the world, in the community, in our homes, in ministering assignments. We don't all have probably the vantage point I do to hear all these different stories, but I know you have them in your own life. The one thing I would say is keep doing them. As you feel prompted to make a mask, as you feel prompted to take a meal, as you feel prompted to make a phone call, as you feel prompted to send a letter, as you feel prompted to say a prayer, follow that prompting and do it. In saying that, I love his counsel here. It's not faster than a man should run. It's not requisite that a man should run faster than he has strength. Brothers and sisters, as you do that, take care of yourself. There's so many things I'm sure we can all come up with all these really fun ideas. And if we go online, we can come up with these brilliant activities we can do at our homes, or this really neat object lesson that we can do all week long, or these 87 people that we can serve. We can't do more than we can. And if we do, we put ourselves in a position where we become vulnerable. Brothers and sisters, take care of yourselves. Serve where you can. Follow the promptings of the Spirit. Don't run faster than you have strength. But at the same point in time, don't use that as an excuse not to act on the promptings you get. It's a balancing act. But as we learn to hear him, and as we desire to do good, and as we find the balance between running faster than we have strength and being diligent, as we're taught here, I know that we can become more like him, that we can experience the Spirit in our homes, and that we can take it into others' homes, even when we can't physically go there. And I love you all, and I hope you have a fantastic week. We'll see what my hair looks like next week, and love hearing from all of you. Bye.